Welcome to Speed and Color, a podcast and YouTube channel about custom motorcycle culture. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to get all the latest content. You can also follow Speed and Color on Instagram. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Speed and Color. Well, here I am in beautiful Port Dover, Ontario, looking across the river here at some of the cottages and stuff, and the boats lined up along the river, and you might see as I'm talking a boat go by in the background there as it heads out to Lake Erie. Beautiful setting. And I have to be honest with you, and this episode is maybe going to be a better podcast than it is a YouTube video, because we're not going to do much in the way of technical stuff or anything other than me that you need to see, and you don't need to see me. But I'll tell you, I missed, for the first time, I missed my deadline. I missed getting an episode out last Friday, Friday the 13th. Maybe there's something connected there. But I wasn't able to get an episode out. I had one together earlier in the week, and some things happened and some information came out, and it left me not real comfortable with the episode that I was going to put out. And I thought, well, you know, I'd rather wait and do it right than put something out that is just fluff and I wasn't happy with. So I decided to wait. Karen and I were coming down here for the big Friday the 13th show, and I thought maybe I would capture something here. So as it turns out, what I did was I gave it some thought, and I just want to share some random thoughts with you, some things about, you know, motorcycle culture and where we're going and what seems to be happening, stuff like that. So I decided I would just sit down with you on this beautiful sunny deck and talk to you about some of the things I'm observing, some of the things that I think are important, just some of my opinions. So let's start with the Bad Livin Roadshow. Bad Livin Roadshow, I've done an episode with the Queen Street Motorcycle Group, great bunch of guys. They were at the show last year. Karen and I were at the show last year. We took the Sportster down. Fantastic show. I got to tell you, the Bad Livin Roadshow, and this is part of what I wanted to talk about today, is the Bad Livin Roadshow. Lee Sipes, that guy he's pure magic. He's very philosophical, but he's pure magic. He has the right connections. He's got the right attitude. He's got confidence. He's got ideas. And I'll tell you what, the Bad Livin Roadshow got so many things right. The location, that Frontier ghost town, unbelievable. That is just crazy. Rick, the owner, is fantastic. It's just, I mean, I don't think you could have found a better location. Camping, lots and lots of camping. All the camping you need for that kind of event. So the location, excellent. And Durham, Ontario, Durham the town, not Durham County in Toronto or whatever, but the town of Durham. Beautiful riding out there. What a great ride out from Hamilton or Toronto or the States or wherever you're coming from. Just beautiful roads, beautiful riding. I think that would be just excellent. I enjoyed riding there. It was wonderful. So the riding was good. The way Bad Livin is structured is you have invited builders and you have a show. So in this regard, it's very Born Free-esque. And you've got show bikes and a show to see, but there are hundreds, I don't know how many bikes. It may go into I'm sure it goes into the thousands. But you've got all those bikes that are out in the camping area that really, they're there for the event. They're there for the social aspect. but they're really not show bikes. And believe me, some of them are beautiful. They're just not on display. But there is that display. There's a vendor area. The vendor area is great because it's not all T-shirts and hats and hoodies. There's some hard parts there. There's some cool stuff that's hard to find. There's some local manufacturers who make great products, and they're there. And so it's a little more hard parts and less apparel, which I thought was really, really good. Entertainment. And, this is something I'm going to talk about, is Lee brought in entertainment. Now, the music may not have been my selection. It's okay. Lee didn't do the event for me. What's interesting about it is the music, the bands that Lee selected resonated with a younger crowd, and that's great. I have no issue with that. We need younger people in the whole motorcycle culture and industry. We need a lot more young people. Us old guys, we're there, but you don't always have to play to us. So he got the entertainment right. He got the place right. He got the riding area right. He got the camping right. He nailed everything about that show. And the first one turned out spectacular. So at the 2024 Bad Livin' Roadshow, there was a young man there by the name of Luciano, and I'll probably butcher his last name. I'm going to think it's Capasso, but if it's a different pronunciation, Luch, I hope you'll give me some grace here, and maybe when I see you this year, you'll tell me how to pronounce your last name. Luciano has LCP Productions. So he's I guess what they'd call a videographer. He did that little guy, man, oh man. He ran his arse off all weekend. He was all over the place. He had drones up. He was doing it. And he captured a whole bunch of footage, and Luch has put together just an absolutely outstanding documentary about the Bad Livin' Roadshow. So the Bad Livin' Roadshow documentary, which you can find on YouTube, and you can search it by Bad Livin' Roadshow documentary, or go to LCP Productions, which if you do, maybe you want to subscribe for sure, give them a thumbs up, whatever. The documentary is absolutely wonderful. Really captures the essence of the event, the vibe, and some great commentary from Lee, the organizer of the show. Just a really, really good piece, really professionally done. And I think, if you've got any questions about whether you should go to the Bad Livin' Roadshow, you want to check out that video, that documentary, and you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. It's fantastic. And you know what? You'll even get to see me in there for a little bit. It was kind of cool. So, great documentary, great show. Back on for 2025, July 18th to 20th. Same location, Frontier Ghost Town. That's the other thing Lee got right, is the time of year. He didn't come out and try and get it in at the beginning of the year when everybody else is trying to have shows and, during the wet season and stuff like that. No, he was smart, waited until July. I mean, the chances of good weather are as good as they get in that third week of July time frame. So good for Lee, good for Luch. Hey, really appreciate the documentary, man. You did a great job. For anybody who's looking for a motorcycle, and it's I'll say it's chopper, Harley, bobber oriented. It's that kind of culture. Man, if you're looking for an event to go to where you're going to be entertained, have some fun, party, and see some absolutely unbelievable bikes, Bad Livin' Roadshow is the place you want to go. So that's the Bad Livin' Roadshow. I said we were in Port Dover, and we were here for Friday the 13th. And Friday the 13th, another unbelievable event. And part of what I've worked on this weekend is figuring out the difference between shows and events and the different things that are going on, and breaking them down, looking at the components and what's going on at each of these things. And Friday the 13th is not a show. There are no invited builders. There's no special show bike area, nothing like that. Friday the 13th is an event. And so for those of you who don't know, Friday the 13th is exactly what it says. Every Friday the 13th. Doesn't matter what month it happens in, and that's the beauty of Friday the 13th, is the randomness. Here we are in June this year. Next year is going to be, I forget, I think it's something like March and November. Okay, let's be honest, those aren't going to be as well attended. They're not going to be great events. You're not going to be here in November trying to catch some sun, get a tan. That just isn't going to happen. 2027, it's August is Friday the 13th in 2027. So, there you go. You have June, and a couple years later, you're in August. And some years, you've got a couple during the summer. It's just a really unique schedule where, it's not always the first Sunday of June or whatever. So, Friday the 13th, motorcycles come to Port Dover. I have no idea how many were here. I'm going to try and find out. But it's thousands. It's tens of thousands of bikes. The bikes just flood in, and maybe I can show a little video of bikes coming into town that I took. I don't know how good it is. I haven't seen it yet. But anyway, I'll see if I can put something in the YouTube video here. But it's, it's an event. It's a party. It's not a show. Yeah, you walk around town, you look at the bikes parked on the side of the road, and there's lots of beautiful bikes. Absolutely, don't get me wrong. It's very, very good. But because all the bikes are parked on all the streets around the center of town, and they're out in campgrounds, and they're down by the beach, and they're all over the place, you don't go and look at a group of show bikes. That's not here. But what you have is, this year, I believe there were at least 2 stages. There might have been 3 for live bands. I mean, this place rocks. The live music, the beer tents. This is a social gathering. It's an event, and people walk up and down through downtown. I think it might be called Main Street. I've never looked to see what the name is, but the town that runs the street that runs right through the center of town. And there are vendors. Again, I said I was going to share some opinion and stuff. I was a little disappointed in Friday the 13th in that the vendors have, the number of vendors seems smaller to me than it used to be. And the vendors are largely apparel. If you're here for a t-shirt or a hoodie, oh yeah, no problem. If you came here thinking you'd find hard parts in the vendor area, no, not so much. I think I found 2 different vendors selling sound systems, and the one display was spectacular. Good people and everything. So there were some hard parts, lots of apparel, and some trinkets. And, when I say trinkets, jewelry, leather goods, different things. Now, a lot of it is riding gear. I get it. It's, it's part of what we do. It's part of the culture. And somebody may come here looking for riding gear or decide to get some riding gear while they're here. Good. I was just disappointed that the vendor area, one area where there used to be a bunch of vendors, they put up a stage in that area. So there were no vendors there. And all the vendors on Main Street and over in the little park, again, were very much apparel focused. So that disappointed me a bit. The other thing, and I think this is a sign of our times, is there were no bikes on Main Street. Main Street, it used to be that you could ride right up Main Street on your bike, park on the side of the road. People were walking up and down the street. I'm sure, given some of the crazy incidents we've seen with people driving vehicles through crowds and all that kind of nonsense, that unfortunately you just can't have that situation, even with motorcycles. You can't allow that to happen anymore. Not to mention what it would cost to insure an event where that kind of thing was going on. So I'm sure that's the reason for the change of parking on Main Street. It takes away a little bit of, if you're familiar with the event, to me, it takes away a little bit of the ambiance. Oh, diesel truck. Oh, excuse me. Takes away some of the ambiance, the essence, the vibe, but still a great event. Great event. And with a beach and Lake Erie and, the restaurants are good here. They're busy, but they're good. If you like perch, oh man, perch and chips, you can get it a couple different places. There's one down close to the beach. I think it's called Fisherman's Cafe or something. Unbelievable perch meals. And, I know a lot of people enjoy that. So, again, in comparison to something like Bad Livin', the camping here is away from the event for the most part. A lot of people do Airbnbs like Karen and I did with this one for the weekend. It's, people aren't all camped together in a central location. They're kind of spread out. There's no show. There's no Born Free type component. Entertainment, lots of live music. Nothing like the Wall of Death or anything that you get at Born Free, which, those things can be cool, but no stunting, none of that. It's, I guess maybe you'd call it a static event. But you want to meet people, you want to have fun, have a beer, listen to some music. We took in the Hip experience on Thursday night, and that was just great. We're tragically Hip fans. So good. Great event. Had a wonderful time. Check your calendars. Friday the 13th, Port Dover, Ontario. Man, this event is worth the trip. It's just crazy. But like I say, you're not going to get that Born Free type environment. This is a different sort of thing. So that takes care of Friday the 13th. The other event that unfortunately is going on while Karen and I are away is the last Kickstart show in Calgary. And totally understand that, for Jen and Kenny trying to focus on family, business, whatever, I get it. It's a big undertaking to do that show. I don't think there's anything in it for Jen and Kenny other than supporting the community, which is awesome. But, if nothing comes out of a show, if there's no value to somebody in putting on a show other than satisfaction, well, satisfaction's nice, but, there's costs, everything has to be paid for, and there's a hell of a lot of time goes into it. So, Jen and Kenny, this is the last of the Kickstart shows, apparently. Kickstart show is certainly not a big show like Bad Livin' or Born Free or Friday the 13th. Very select, very exclusive, very, very pointed It's a real culture thing. Good attendance, great attendance, really, and beautiful motorcycles, the best of the best. But again, it's because of what it is and the size of it and everything. I don't see it drawing a whole bunch of people from outside the Calgary area, the greater Calgary area, whatever you want to call that. It's more of a local show. Again, fantastic. Have always loved it. Happy that I could participate in it a couple of times. But it has run its course, and for them, it's time to give it up. And I applaud them in that, for whatever reason, they want to step away, and that's cool. They're not trying to hand it off to anybody, from what I understand. There's been no indication of that. They're not trying to say, well, we'll come back in a different format, or we'll come back with different people, or whatever. The Kickstart show, as I understand it, is done. And, that's great. They were the heart of that. If they're not continuing as the heart, hey, I hope there's something new. I hope there's a different show, different format, same format. I don't care. Somebody takes it on, does it, great. Do another show. But don't try and find somebody to do the Jen and Kenny Kickstart show, because it'll never be the same. It won't work. So I'm glad that they've said, this is it. It's done. This is the last one. Let's have fun. And that's out of the way. So Kickstart show, sad that I couldn't be there for this one. Had to weigh the opportunities and the experience, and we decided to be here for Friday the 13th, which right now, sitting here on this deck with this sun on my face, I am not regretting one little bit. I'm happy to be here. So then we move on to Two Wheel Sunday. And Two Wheel Sunday, again, local event in Calgary, very well attended. Two Wheel Sunday, I'm going to say, has always kind of struggled for its identity. Two Wheel Sunday, the format is, it's pretty basic. First Sunday in June, motorcycles show up. The road is blocked off. It's I don't know if you call it, I guess it's a close. So it's a big U shape. It's blocked off, only motorcycles in. You park all along the street. I think it's 1 kilometer long. So there's tons of parking. There's a grass city green space beside it, where the vendors get to set up. So the vendors are on the grass, well attended by vendors. There's always been lots of vendors out there. Good mix of apparel, hard parts, groups, whatever. So they're all set up. It's good that way. But the show and shine has never taken off. It's been okay, but it's never really taken off. It's never been that good. And one thing that I will criticize Two Wheel Sunday for, and I don't want to criticize the organizers, but I'll be critical of the event, that the show and shine has always been put off into another space, another parking area. This year it was up, there's a little bit of a hill opposite the vendors and some industrial buildings, and they were up there in the parking lot. So it sets the show off in a different space, and I didn't see a lot of people going up there. I never went up to look at it. It just seems that the show and shine has never been a real big deal, never caught on. like I say, whether it's placement of it or whatever's happened, I think it would be much better if it was down on the grass with the vendors, where you've got people walking by and socializing, doing everything. Then they get to see it. Putting it off on the other side of the road up a hill, I think it just pushes it out of the way. They added an FXR show this year. And good for Odin Manufacturing for adding the FXR show. The FXR show was down on the grass with the vendors and got tons of attention. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's not because they were FXRs. It's not because they were Harley Davidsons. It's not because it was Odin Manufacturing. It's because they were in the right location. And that part of the show, the turnout, I heard there was over 30 FXRs. Don't know if that's accurate, but that would sure be close from what I saw. Good location, right on the way to the food trucks, on the grass with the vendors, worked real well. So Two Wheel Sunday this year was on June 1st, and it was good, and that was part of the show that I had ready to show you. But some information has come out since the show, and I suspect we're going to see quite a change in Two Wheel Sunday. And if we don't see big change, the big change will be that we won't see Two Wheel Sunday. Again, getting back to liabilities, risks, people doing stupid things, running cars through crowds, and it just, I don't understand people sometimes, but anyway, well, a lot of the time. But anyway, these things are taking their toll on this type of gathering or event. And it looks like it's going to be very hard to get a city permit to close a street like that. It's going to be a lot of conditions with barricades and all. I mean, security, you really have to do it up. So the location, it's going to be really tough to go back there, I think. And then what will the location be, and what does the show turn to? If it's not in an easily accessible part of the city, like it is now or has been, are you going to get the same turnout? And again, Two Wheel Sunday, in terms of what a show is and what the identity is, Two Wheel Sunday, there is no entertainment. There's no bands. There's no wall of death. There's nothing like that. So there's no entertainment. It is strictly a social gathering. And unlike, again, Bad Livin', Born Free, even the Kickstart show is a 2-day show, Two Wheel Sunday is hours long. It's on Sunday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., done. It's hard to do a lot with a show in that time frame, or pardon me, with an event, because it's not really a show. Everybody just comes and parks their bikes. So I don't know. I don't know. Two Wheel Sunday, if it's going to carry on, then it's going to take some passionate people to really rethink what Two Wheel Sunday is, what the identity is, and what the target demographic is. Who are we trying to get out? And if it's the whole culture in general, the whole motorcycle industry in general, then you've got to know that, and you've got to gear your event to that. So Two Wheel Sunday, I have not heard any official statement that it's gone, it's dead, nothing like that. Fully expect that it will be back at this point for next year. Will it be in the same location? Probably not. That doesn't look like it'll happen. So we'll wait and see. Again, you know what? Maybe Two Wheel Sunday, maybe it's run its course. Maybe something new will come along. For sure, there's going to be changes. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see what happens there. I'm just going to take a quick look at my phone because I made some notes. Yeah, so the last thing that I want to talk to you about is I want to talk to you about my nuts. So with this whole tariff situation, I ordered some nuts from Lowbrow. I'm doing the Yamaha build. I want to do something a little different. I want to go with acorn nuts, chrome acorns. I needed some chrome nylocks and just regular chrome nuts. Anyway, so I ordered up a variety of chrome fasteners. All nuts, sorry. So I ordered up these nuts, and to give you an idea, the total was $133.63 before shipping in US dollars. That converted to, I just did this yesterday, converted yesterday to 181 and 56 cents Canadian. What would it have been when they shipped a week ago? I don't know. Maybe it was 183 or maybe it was 180. It's going to be within a couple bucks of that. On the FedEx charges, so Lowbrow ships with FedEx, and the price is reasonable. The service is awesome. FedEx does a great job. And FedEx does clear your parcels for you, unlike other carriers that want to know if you have a broker or whatever. FedEx does the brokering and stuff. So it makes it really simple. FedEx just calls you up, says, hey, you got a bill to pay, this much in duties and taxes. GST, our general sales tax here, 5%. You can't get away from it. You're going to pay it, no problem. So that's part of what they charge you for. But on this shipment, what got me was the special assessment charge. And the special assessment charge is 25% tariff on U.S. steel products. I take it that's what it is. So it's definitely part of the retaliatory tariffs. So that was $51.71. So for $180 worth of chrome nuts, I got to pay an extra $52 to get the things here. Now, $52 in the big scope of that build, I'm not whining. I'm not complaining that way. And I'm not even whining about the tariffs. But here's what I want to put out there and what I'd like you to think about. And boy, do I ever wish our politicians would think about. And that is, what Mr. Trump is doing in the U.S. and tariffs on Americans, etc. Okay, whatever. Not my business. I'm not going to offer an opinion there because he's not my president. What the U.S. does trade-wise is what the U.S. does, and I'm okay with that. From a Canadian aspect, though, if Mr. Trump wants to put a 25% and now a 50% tariff on steel, that's his business. And somebody in the U.S., the importer, whoever, somebody's going to pay those tariffs. Yes, the price is going to go up, and the price is even going to go up for me buying a U.S. product made with Canadian steel. So, yeah, there's lots of ramifications there. But what I'm concerned about is this retaliatory tariff. So the Canadian government says, we're going to put a 25% tariff on steel products. Well, okay. So why do we want to punish Canadians with a 25% tariff, especially for a lot of things that we can't get anywhere else? I mean, these are things, and they're not necessities by any means, but they're things that we want to purchase that we can't purchase from a Canadian supplier. So putting the tariff on the products coming from the U.S., we get to pay this money. And believe me, if I thought my $52 would get the attention of Mr. Trump, I would do it. I would pay 10 times that in a heartbeat. and have no issue with that. The problem here is that the counter tariffs, the retaliatory tariffs by the Canadian government, which are intended to pressure the U.S. decision to have tariffs on our products, is not working. We are in different times. Yes, there are state senators and people like that in the U.S. political system who are looking at it saying, oh my goodness, Canadians aren't buying Kentucky bourbon or whatever, and, our market is down 3%, 30%, I don't know what it is, and I don't follow that stuff. But that senator in times past would then go to the president or the White House or whatever and say, hey, your decision is really impacting our state. And a lot of the time things would get adjusted, changed, done away with because it was hurting Americans. In this case, and again, I'm trying not to give an opinion here, I'm just giving fact. In this case, Donald Trump does not care what the counter pressure is. He is not changing his mind because of the counter pressure of Canadian tariffs on U.S. goods. So, okay, cost me 25% more, actually more than 25% more, I don't know how that works, to get parts to build my motorcycle. Nobody cares. Nobody's hearing it. So for my government, which is the one I really care about, if anybody gets this message, man, drop the counter tariffs. Be like Australia. Just say, you know what? We're not going to punish our citizens because the U.S. puts in a tariff policy. We're just not going to raise the cost of goods, the cost of living. We're not going to hike inflation because of another country's tariff situation. So, for what it's worth, that's my opinion there. I'd love to know what you think. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but it just isn't making sense to me. So, those are Bruce's random thoughts for a Sunday morning in Port Dover, Ontario. Thanks for joining me. I'd love to hear your comments about any of what I talked about. I hope this is made for a decent podcast and anybody listening has enjoyed it. We're going to be back again in 2 weeks with a new episode, and I've got something lined up that I think will be informative and valuable for all of you who are into motorcycles. So again, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if that's okay. Comment. We're on podcast platforms, the YouTube channel, of course, Speed and Color. And we're on Instagram as well, and I do try and put updates on Instagram, at least about shows and things coming up. If you've watched any of my other episodes, like Hellbent Metalworks or SNS Customs, those Canadian manufacturer type ones, please support those people too. Check those people out on Instagram. Check out their websites. We do some fantastic stuff in this country, and I'm all about supporting the creative, talented people who do it. So thanks for watching. Really enjoyed this episode myself, making it. You know what? I'm going to work on my tan for a couple more hours before we have to get back on the airplane. Thanks for watching. See you soon.